You are now tuned in to The Money Zone with your host, Folasade, the accountant for entrepreneurs. The time is now, your future waits, your money matters, make no mistake, it's not too late to dominate, so don't delay, get your money straight. The money zone, together we'll achieve your goals, we're building wealth, you're not alone, so don't delay, get your money straight.
Hey guys, welcome. It's your girl Folasade, the host of The Money Zone on RipRadioNetwork.com. Guys, I am so excited to be with all of you on this amazing Tuesday. Yes, we're still stuck in COVID, but let's be honest. If you are alive right now and healthy, then you are 100% blessed. Let's really be honest, okay? So if you are an entrepreneur, you want to tune in. If you are a coach, online entrepreneur, marketing, affiliate marketer, you're owner of a company, whatever the case may be, you want to tune in to tonight's show. And the reason being is because we're going to be talking about in segment 1 whether or not your business should or should not have waivers signed by your clients when they come to your events, or your attendees when they come to your events, or your staff and so forth. So we have the amazing one-of-a-kind brand attorney, LaKanya Murray, coming on to talk about the article that I saw today, where attorneys were going back and forth like, okay, should you get a waiver? Should you not? Should you? Like, they're confused. And I was confused. So I was like, okay, Connie, can you come and help the people? Can you come and help us better understand what we should do if we're still trying to host our live events? And then in segment 2, we're going to talk about all of the important tax due dates. Tomorrow's July 1st. You need to be well aware what's due, when it's due, why it's due, and if the IRS is going to give you an extension as well. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to give you some time to share the video with your friend with the hashtag live events COVID, right? Hashtag live events COVID, share the video. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to be right back. Okay. Hey guys, and we are back. So look, okay, I know you guys are itching to go to live events. I had multiple live events scheduled. I know you are itching to host your retreats. I know you're burning in your seats. Oh, I'm rapping a little bit, right? Okay, but guess what? Before we just jump out there, we need to know what is the deal. So let me share my screen really quick to show you the article that we're going to be kind of talking about tonight. So, where did it go? Okay, perfect. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, so the title says on BizBash, do event organizers need waivers of liability sign due to COVID-19? So my first question to the audience is, do you guys think that we need waiver signed, or do you need a waiver signed to host events during COVID-19? So this is why we brought brand attorney LaKanya Mori to the Money Zone to specifically kind of break this down for us. So Trump, can you let Connie into the show today?
I'm in the show.
Hey Connie, how are you?
On from
Okay.
football today. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm fine. I can hear you. Okay, yes, there you go. Okay, guys. So look, if you don't know who Connie is, look, she was one of our very first guests when the Money Zone was not on Rip Radio. It was just on little old blog talk. Okay. I had my little rinky dink microphone. It was a mess, but we did it, right? And Connie has been serving my clients, and she's now going to be working on our trademarks here for our company as well. So guys, when I tell you she's a wealth of knowledge, and I wouldn't want anybody here to better kind of explain to us what's going on. So Connie, I know you probably read the article, right? What do you think? Like, do you believe that we need to have waivers signed to protect us, knowing when we step out, we're at risk?
That's a great question. And so what I'm going to start at is like really back it up a little bit and tell you what a liability waiver is. So let's just start. What is a waiver anyway? So a waiver is kind of two parts. So a waiver is giving that third party notice that there's some risk associated with coming to this event. I remember before we got locked down, when we were still in pre-COVID, I would take the kids to rock and jump, and I would have to sign a waiver because you rocking and jumping, you jumping up and down, you can fall down, you can break something. So they said, hey, hold up. When you come here, you could fall down, you can break something. So that's the first part, letting you know that there's some risk associated with the event. The second part is they're asking you to assume the risk, meaning that, hey, if you get hurt, that's on you because you know there's a risk involved. Do not sue us. So that's what that liability waiver is. They're saying, hey, there's some risk associated with attending this event, and we want you not to sue us because we'll let you know there's some risk involved. So that's, first of all, that's what the liability waiver is doing.
Okay.
And so to answer your question about whether or not people need to have a waiver, if they're holding events, it can go either way. So you want to let people know because some people are slow. I'm just going to say, if you think about the hot coffee lawsuit decades ago, and then they had to put on the cups that the coffee is hot, so you sometimes you got to let people know. And at the end of the day, waivers are all about covering your behind, just making sure that you are protected in case someone does try to sue you. But here's the thing. If you go to an event like that, because there's such an assumption of risk, right? There is this virus going out and you're going there, they will still have to prove that they got the virus from your event.
Oh, that's good.
They will still have to prove that attended, like that means they're going to have to track where they've been for the last 14 days and prove that this is where we caught the COVID. So that's another thing. I would say if you plan on hosting an event, and this might be something that you might want to get into. If you plan on hosting an event, you want to really let the people know, one, that let them know that there's a risk associated with the event, right? And two, let them know what your expectations are. just because the COVID is out there and you have this waiver doesn't mean that you should just host an event without taking precautions. It doesn't, because in some states, first of all, liability waivers are not federal, they're by state. So you need to know what the state requires for that liability waiver. Okay, that's first. And second of all, certain states have things in place for how you can gather and when you can gather. You still need to make sure that you're doing that. And if you're in a state that has very lax laws and says, hey, everybody come on in, gather, be merry, use some common sense and just take some more precautions. And then if you take those precautions, meaning that you make sure that you limit attendance, that you have the seats 6 feet apart, that you require people to wear a mask, put that on your website or wherever you're talking about this event. I think when you set the expectations, you let people know that, hey, there are risks. The COVID is still out here, making people sick, taking lives, but we're hosting this event because of X, Y, and Z. You can still put your waiver language in there, but this is how we want to handle it. This is how this is what we're doing. We're doing our part, but even though we're doing this, you're still going to assume the risk if something happens. And I think when you go in there, it makes people more comfortable about attending your event because they know that you're doing something to keep them safe. And two, you still are covering your behind.
You know what? I like this. And the reason why I really like this, because you guys know that I watch entrepreneurs. I have to watch entrepreneurs for my clients. And Sierra, the owner of Sierra, the glam shop on Instagram, she still had her microblading events during COVID, but she did exactly what you said, Connie. She made sure that on her website, she listed out exactly what the people were going to be expecting, what were the protocols, how long it may take for registration. The seats will be 6 feet apart. You won't be able to do certain things. Like, she basically outlined it. And I was looking for her landing page to her event where it said it. I saw this several months ago, and it kind of triggered this conversation today, exactly what you guys want to do. So just to recap, really what Connie said is that the first thing that any individual that's going to try to make a claim against you, they have to prove that the virus came from your event. So they need to be tracking themselves, and everybody want to be outside, honestly, then they may have a difficult time going back and kind of backtracking their footsteps. You also need to let them know that there is risk associated and what are the expectations, okay? You also need to use common sense. If the law says this, then you need to abide by the law. But if there are very lax laws, you need to use common sense and protect your business and yourself as well. So Connie, do you think that, because in the article, it was stating that, if on the back of the tickets, it have a liability waiver there. Do you think that entrepreneurs should just take it a bit further outside of the ticket, illustrating the liability waiver, and also have an additional waiver signed? How do you think they should approach this?
And I think it really would matter, like I said, first of all, they're state by state, so it depends on what the state laws. But because of some of the challenges with proving the liability as far as on the event host, I don't know if it's something that you have to put right out there in the open. Most of the time, like when you purchase a ticket, you go to an event, they have all this stuff on the back of the ticket anyway. All this stuff on the back of the ticket letting you know. And it's kind of like, I remember when I was in law school, they had a sample case where someone was at I want to say it was a baseball game. It was either a baseball game or a hockey game, and they were sitting there and they got hit. And yes, they sued, but they weren't able to win because they're like, look, you had a baseball game where balls get hit and they fly everywhere. You are assuming the risk by being out there that you're going to get hit in the face with the ball. So I feel like it's something like that. You are going out in the midst of this pandemic, knowing what could possibly happen. So I don't know if you have to take extra precautions because that's something that's very well known. We're in a pandemic. It's definitely a risk. So I don't know if you have, I don't know if you have to go and put it in big places and website and have them sign an additional form. You just want to make sure you have that language somewhere.
That's interesting. And then, so the article states, even if an event attendee signs a waiver, they can still sue the organizers or the venue if they contract the coronavirus, but they most likely won't win the case. The reason almost every COVID-19 related injury or death claim will lose has to do with proximate cause. That's what this
Right.
settlement says.
And so what that means, what I was telling you about earlier, proximate cause means you had to show that you got the virus from there. That's proximate cause. One of the things that I would say too, you said something that made me want to think of something. I can't, what did you just say? I just had a thought based off of what you just read and I lost it that quick. Reread the beginning part of that again.
Okay, so I have read, let me read it again for you. They said that organizers of, while these claims likely won't be successful.
I remember now. Sue, they can, so just because they sign a waiver doesn't mean that they can't sue you. People will sue all the time. That just means that the lawsuit, they won't be successful, or you have an opportunity to have it thrown out. People will write a complaint and pay the filing fee all day long. But just because someone sues you doesn't mean they have a valid claim. So that's what they're saying in that article, is that it won't stop people from suing you, because they can sue you. They just might not be successful.
Wow. Oh, okay. And then also, while these types of claims likely won't be successful, Edelman predicts a much bigger problem going forward. Insurers won't make any money covering claims caused by infectious disease, including but not limited to COVID-19. So they're not going to write infectious disease coverage anymore. Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, because think about it. So we talk about business owners having to have insurance, right? And part of the reason they have, and it's different types of insurance. So one of the coverages is if someone gets, typically if someone gets hurt on your property, you can file a claim with your insurance company. So because of the pandemic, insurance companies are like, look, if people get sick, this is not covered. And if it's not covered, and the reason that's important is when someone files a lawsuit, sometimes people file lawsuits just so they can settle with no intentions of going to court. They just try to settle it. So what they're saying is, because if the insurance company won't cover the claim, that means there's no money backing it. And so when you go to settle, you're not going to get any money.
Okay. And then you did say that there's a federal claim, and then there's a state claim, and everything else. So look, they said Edelman cites the reopening of Disney. He said that the theme park's website doesn't include any specific waiver language. Instead, it states that an inherent risk of exposure to COVID-19 exists in any public place where people are present, and links out to more details on the park's reopening plans as well as CDC guidelines. Wow. Okay, so let me just ask you just a general question from a business perspective. Is it still worth us creating an additional waiver? Let's say we didn't use Eventbrite. Let's say we just sold tickets on our website. Should we still have a waiver clause somewhere on our
terms and conditions? Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Just put them with your terms and conditions.
Okay. And then also, from your perspective, what type of insurance should they have? Shouldn't they have business insurance? Do commercial general liability protect this type of stuff or handle these type of claims?
I will refer to the insurance people. That's outside of my realm of genius, but definitely contact someone, a commercial insurance provider that can help you with that. And they can tell you the best type of insurance to get.
Okay, because that's pretty interesting, because I used to be an insurance broker, and yes, and infectious disease was more so a requirement when you had a particular type of business industry, when your business is in a particular type of industry. So the nursing industry, they had to do that. Medical industry, there was a requirement, but like normal businesses, no, I cannot recall it at all being in any of the policies at all. No.
I think what they're trying to do is prevent people from trying to add that clause or get that type of coverage because of what's going on. They're like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So let me be honest, for all of my entrepreneurs that have been able to get away with their live events without having like special events insurance, that might be out. I honestly do believe that almost every hotel, banquet hall, and everything will require you guys to have your special events insurance to cover any activities on their premises, so and so forth. But like Connie said, my professional recommendation is for you guys to contact your current and present insurance carrier to see and let them know, hey, I want to be hosting live events. What are the protocols? And so let me be honest with you guys. Many of you may not be informing your insurance providers on as much as they're supposed to. So for example, they are also supposed to be reviewing your contract sometimes to make sure that it's not too much risk within your contract. So like with me, with my engagement letters, they would do a silent audit and ask me to send my engagement letters to them just to see the amount of liability at all. So Connie, is there anything that you want to leave the people with regarding having live events and the waivers and COVID right now, and anything else that you want to leave them with about yourself and your business?
I would just say be safe and be safe, take precautions, definitely follow CDC guidelines as it relates to having events, and just know that there are risks associated with that at this time, and do your best to keep yourself safe and your participants safe. That's what I would leave. Like, I'm in the house, and me and mine are in the house until at least the end of the year. Like they say that school is starting August, first week of August. Who kids? Not mine.
Mm-mm.
Not
I was just
mine.
telling my sister I may have to find an online school for Brent too, because I refuse to have to succumb to the pressure. I'm just going to be worried. I wouldn't even be able to be
I
at home
would.
and work being at school.
I have a
Okay.
child that's more susceptible to being sick, and I'm like, I'm not gonna risk her getting sick by exposing her to that. So we did apply for online school here. They have, and I would say that, well, this is totally off subject, right? But a lot of states, some states do have online options, and I'm not talking about from the private sector, like the public. Like, my board of education has a online option for certain schools. So I would definitely check into that.
You know what? Okay, so guys, a lot of lessons that we learned. And Connie, can you tell the people where to follow you, where they can,
Absolutely.
get on your mailing list and what you have going on?
Yeah, I'm literally at LaConya Murray everywhere. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. That's where I'm at. And then my website is laconyamurray.com. And if you are, because you're an entrepreneur, if you're interested in learning more about trademarks, that's my realm of genius. That's what I do. I actually help clients throughout the United States protect their brand content and ideas through trademarks, copyrights, and business development. And I have a free mini course, 3-day mini course, available on my website now if you want to sign up and learn more about protecting your brand and the basics of intellectual property. So definitely go to laconyamurray.com to sign up for that. And if you just have questions and you want to schedule a consultation, you can do that there as well.
Perfect. So Connie, I want to say thank you so much for taking out your time. When I saw the article today, I'm like, you know what? I am not an attorney. I can only speak on the two realms of, well, my old realm, new realm, right? Business,
Right.
I couldn't. So I want to just say thank you so much for coming on the Money Zone today and really educating us on quite a bit. Some people didn't even know what a waiver was, proximate cause, liability. Like, I know they learned some stuff today. So guys, go ahead on and follow Connie. And then if you're new and if you're just tuning in, guys, you want to look out for the replay as well. So Connie, I want to say thank you so much. And
My
I will
pleasure.
see you on the web.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Okay, guys, so if you just missed the interview with Connie, you want to catch the replay once we're done with tonight's show. But just to give you guys a brief recap before we take us a quick break and go into all of your important tax due dates, guys, she basically said that it is or isn't a requirement. People are going to sue you regardless, but basically the claims to sue people saying that they've contracted the coronavirus from your event, they need to be able to backtrack and prove that they contracted coronavirus from your event. She also said that even if there aren't stiff regulations around like you know, how your event's supposed to be, the amount of people, limitations, stuff like that. She said, set up your own precautions, okay? Think, you know, be mindful of the situation, okay? Just because everybody else want to be free, that don't mean you have to, right? Protect yourself and protect your community. And so this is the thing, guys. I know many of you are like, oh my gosh, Folasade, I'm losing thousands of dollars because your forte is live events. Your forte is live events. If you guys take the necessary precautions, then you might be okay. But as Connie said, she's going to be inside, and my family, we're going to be inside too. So I will not be attending any live events. But if you guys feel as though you want to do it, just make sure that somewhere on your website, somewhere on your tickets, it do have a waiver liability statement there. And then also make sure you take the necessary precautions as well, and just be mindful that anything can happen in a public place. Okay, so guys, we are about to take a quick little break. And if you're just tuning in, we're going into segment 2 to talk about all of your important tax due dates and what to expect going forward and all of the juice, guys. So take a minute, share the video, grab whatever libation you want, your drink, your tea. I'm going to go heat up my tea, and then we're going to be right back in about 2 minutes. All right. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Money Zone, guys. Okay, so if you missed segment 1, you want to go back, especially if you are a live event maven, you make your killing doing live events, you want to definitely come back and watch the replay on RipRadioNetwork.com as well, or maybe catch this live stream once it's done and over with. So we're going right into, fast forward into, guess what? The dreadful stuff, taxes, tax due dates, your responsibilities, your requirements, and much, much more, guys. Okay, so this is the time that you want to grab your pen and your paper right now so you won't have to worry. You can set your time, your reminders, your events, so you can pay your taxes. So right now, there is no additional extension at all. So if you remember about 3 or 4 days ago, there were articles going surfacing the web talking about Munich was going to extend the tax due date from July 15th to another date. However, that article surfaced about 4 or 5 days ago. As of today, no update. And however, the IRS has actually updated their website as of yesterday. Like, hold up. Don't be confused now. Your tax due date has not been extended. We are not even considering extending your tax due date. So they wanted to inform you guys of everything that's due. So grab your pen and your paper. So your tax due date is July 15th. So tomorrow will make 15 days until you have to either file your tax return or file a tax extension. So for all of my late filers and for all of my clients that are late filers, please call the office, call your tax preparer, or call me if you want to work with me so we can now put in extensions for you prior to July 15th. Okay. So just so we're clear, the extension gives you an extension to file your tax return. Okay. So what it will do is say, hey, okay, so the tax return was due on July 15th. However, we're going to give you enough time, more time up until October 15th to actually file your return. However, there's much confusion about this extension thing. And this is one confusion. There is no extension on your payments. So if you're going to be owing, or if you anticipate owing, or if you always owe, it's best that you try to make your tax payments to the IRS by July on or before July 15th. If the IRS receive your payment by July 16th, then you will accrue interest and penalty charges, okay? So even if you file an extension, you still want to pay whatever you possibly can by July 15th so you can avoid as much interest and penalty charges on your account. And so this is where it gets a bit scary for me, honestly, because now everybody's going to be responsible to pay their taxes and everything else, right? Great. But we still have no end to the COVID, to this pandemic, and to all of the chaos that is happening right now. Okay. Politicians are conflicted. Businesses are conflicted. Honestly, I'm conflicted. Like, it's just too much going on. And with the level of uncertainty, I thought that it would have been a good opportunity for the IRS to show that they are for the people at some time, or for the Treasury to show that they are for the people and extend the taxes due even further out. Just extend it until next year, honestly. It gives enough people enough time to not have to worry about that burden. Like, I feel as though this may cause more people to go over the edge in terms of committing suicide, or in terms of, just falling apart because they're worried about their jobs, their businesses, their finances, and then now they have to worry about the IRS hawking them for payments. So guys, if I were you, to avoid the hawking, go ahead on and submit your extension. But better yet, if you know you're going to owe, right? Or if you know you're owing, it's advisable to file your return, go ahead on and do an installment agreement. So you want to file your return on or before July 15th. Even if you cannot pay the full amount, just get on a payment plan with the minimum amount due and just try to pay that as often as you can every month if possible, just so you will get them off your head and you can focus on yourself right now. Okay, so there's two ways that you guys can possibly do this extension thing. Okay, so you can contact your tax, well, three ways. You can try to do it on your own via TurboTax. You can contact me or your tax professional to have them do the extension for you. Or you can go to a third-party website like the IRS site where you make your payments, okay? Or the IRS third-party site, direct pay sites for you guys to go ahead on and make your payment. I'm going to share my screen really quick so you guys can see the sources that I'm referencing right now. So you can go ahead on and make the payment in those two ways. And then when you make your payment on any of these portals, you have the opportunity to also do your extension simultaneously. So go ahead on and make your payment and then do your extension. So on the IRS site, you will go to the direct pay with bank account, or you can set up an account with the EFTPS.gov electronic filing taxpayer systems with the IRS as well. I thought this was going to take you exactly to, okay, yep, let me share my screen. So you will go right to the direct pay and just do your extension like this. Now, my biggest fear right now is that because everyone is anxious to be outside, you guys are going to forget that, yes, it's summertime, but your taxes are due because it's not the normal filing date. So remember, taxes are due July 15th. They have not extended it, so don't fall for the date, okay? So you will go, and then you will go ahead on and make a payment. And so these are for all the individuals that is not submitting a tax return. So if you're not submitting a tax return, you would take this route. Okay, and then you'll go reason for payment, tax return, installment agreement. Okay, you see this one, extension. All right, and then you put the year, hit continue, continue. All right, so it's going to tell you the tax year verification, what your filing status is, and everything else. And you just want to continue on, guys, for all the way to step 5. Okay, and then what will happen is you're going to actually make your payment. Make a payment towards your balance due, right? But then you're also going to be doing your extension simultaneously as well, okay? So that's the way that you can do it. TurboTax, or however way you try to do it yourself, hire me or go to your tax professional to do it, or you try to do it on your own using the IRS direct pay online portal to be able to pay it, okay? So now we talked about taxes due. So almost every tax is due, guys. So your estimated tax payments are due July 15th, okay? So your April's estimated tax payment is due July 15th, and also your June payment, okay, is due July 15th. So there should be multiple payments that you're making at this time. You should be making your extension payment for the taxes that you owe for the 2019 tax year, okay? You should also be doing a payment for whatever estimated taxes, okay, for this 2020 year, first quarter and second quarter. So don't get confused. Or if you're going to get money back on your 2019 tax return, you can have that money applied to your future taxes for 2020. So guys, just pay attention. Honestly, July 15th, but your states are different. Every state is different. So Maryland is July 15th, okay? DC, July 15th, okay? However, depending on where you are, some states were a bit anal during this time. And honestly, from an accountant standpoint, I was highly disappointed and agreed that everything was still due. So states like Texas, they're still operating regularly. Okay, so disappointed in them. So depending on your state, you want to do extensive research regarding your tax due dates according to the states. But for the federal level, you want to go ahead on, have your tax return submitted July 15th, and try to make as much money try to make as much money towards your payment as possible to avoid the interest and penalty charges. Also, for all of you that have not filed 2016 tax return due to COVID, the IRS extended extended the due date to July 15th as well. So if you have not filed your 2016 return and you normally get a refund, then it's time now for you to file that return so you can still get the refund. They normally wouldn't extend it because you have that 3-year period, but due to COVID, they extended that period as well. So if I were you and you know your friends or family members that haven't filed their taxes in years, this is really the time, guys. And they're creating different avenues for us to kind of get our stuff together. And they're giving us extension after extension, loan after loan, unemployment after unemployment. It's up to you guys how you decide to come out of COVID. If you're going to come out of COVID financially stable, then focus on what I'm talking about and getting your taxes and your installment agreements in place and setting up. Like, for example, I just made my tax payment, y'all, like right before the show. I went on ahead and made my installment payment for this month. And then my for July, and then I scheduled a payment for August as well. So if I'm paying my taxes, all right, then you guys should be paying your taxes as well. And be happy to pay your taxes. It's not as dreadful as it seems. It just shows that you're making decent money. And it shows that you've already invested heavily into yourself, so you're able to keep more money. So a lot of people don't understand that, especially for my small business owners, that yes, as your business make more and more money, you're going to owe taxes, but you have to think about something. The more taxes you owe, that means you are making more money and you're keeping more money, okay? So, for example, Jeff Bezos, when he first built Amazon, he wasn't making money for 10 years straight. You're talking about 10 years straight. So he was making money, but didn't keep a profit. All right. And so what he did was every year, the losses started to accumulate year after year after year after year. And so now he has so many losses that it offsets the income and the profit that he made in the business. And you guys can definitely have that same setup if you guys were to take things serious and start to focus on building your business. And then eventually you're going to make a certain amount of investments that's going to allow you to learn more and scale more and build more. And then you're going to end up keeping more. And then that's when you start to owe taxes and have to find people like myself to come up with tax plans and strategies so you can save money and also reinvest back into yourself, but get the tax output and benefit of it. So guys, look, it's so much going on, and I'm going to give you guys a heads up. So one of my bros on Facebook, he had posted the other day an article about foreclosures happening. And this is kind of off topic, and I normally would take a break to kind of talk about our hot topics, but I think I got like 4 or 5 minutes. I don't even want to take a quick break to go on our hot topics. So I'm going right into the hot topics, y'all. So they had posted an article about the amount of foreclosures that's going to happen. So guys, if you recall me predicting this when the COVID first happened, and I started to talk about how the mortgage companies were issuing forbearances and deferments on people's loans, and I was breaking down the difference between the two. So I saw the article that he posted on Facebook, and it says that there are going to be a surge of foreclosures and stuff happening in the near future, like in the next 6 months. And so I just want you guys to be very, very, very mindful that I've been warning you guys that this year was going to be the biggest wealth transfer. And in the African American community and almost every community, our houses are our largest asset, especially in the African American community. Our houses are our largest assets. So if you guys are not paying your mortgage right now, I advise you to go and pay your mortgage so you can keep the family house, or so you can be, keep your home. And the reason why I'm saying that is because people will be preying on your loans. It's investors and people that have saved millions and millions of dollars that's looking and waiting for you guys to lose your home so they can now use that as their flip or for their investment property when you've lost your all. But you losing your all stem from you not managing your finances well, thinking that you have free money, right? Thinking you have free money and you don't have to pay your bills and your mortgage is covered. Guys, it's time for us to buckle up across the board. Taxes are about to be due. So what's going to happen? IRS delayed issuing all liens, okay, all garnishments for COVID, right? After July 15th, the IRS will start the process over. So if you owe them money, they're going to be processing your garnishment. If you owe a certain amount of money, they're going to be processing your levy documents. So while everybody is tripping about getting outside, you guys need to be worrying about the financial detriment that's about to happen to our country. There's already over 30, 40 million people unemployed right now. And it's time for all of you as entrepreneurs, it's time for you to hold yourselves accountable. And it's time for us to provide jobs for people because they're going to need it. And it's time for us to step up and accept the level of leadership that's required, because entrepreneurs are the ones that provide solutions when there's tough times. So if you are sitting on a gift, if you're sitting on a purpose, if you're sitting on anything that we can use right now in society, it is time that you put it out there or align yourself with a growing business like mine or someone else's that you see online or somewhere else, and build and help them push their business so you could be financially set if you know that building a business is not for you. This is not the time for you guys to be so concerned about outside that you just spent your whole unemployment check on Gucci trying to keep up with the Joneses, or you just spent your whole mortgage payment thinking you okay because you didn't pay for a trip to Miami that's going to be canceled next month due to COVID, okay? Because the numbers have soared. So guys, that's basically all I have for you all. So I just want everybody to be mindful that if you are alive and healthy right now, you are beyond blessed. Number one. Number two, there is so much opportunity out there. And if you do not see the opportunity, that means you aren't constantly learning and advancing your expertise or your skill set. Because from where I'm sitting, the money didn't dry up. It's just in a few people's hands that you now have to convince to get the money out of their pocket and into yours. So basically, if you don't know how to make money, don't know how to sell, you're not going to do good. But for all of my people out there that's going to push it to the limit, this is our time, guys. We will save the world. All of us entrepreneurs will save the economy because we're going to provide the millions of jobs that were lost due to the industrialism industry. So to be honest with you guys, the movie industry should have been on. A lot of the things, the malls should have been on. Like we don't do a lot of shopping anyway. A lot of the office buildings we don't need. You understand? We don't need those things. It's now time for you guys to figure out what we need and create it and innovate it and put it out there for the market. And if you're sitting on something right now, you're going to regret this opportunity that we're sitting on right now. Because as y'all done saw that meme, they say, oh, out of COVID, you're going to have millionaires, billionaires, and I think they said bullshitters. Are you going to be the millionaire? Oh, no. They said thousandaires, millionaires, and billionaires. And I'm going to add on in bullshitters because some of you are just watching everybody win right now and you aren't putting in the work. or you're watching everybody and thinking you're going to impress people because you were able to finally afford something and do something, and everybody else's mindset has already shifted to wealth building, establishing legacies, and everything. So guys, if you're not part of that movement where we're trying to get our stuff in order and handle our business, then, and you still stuck on all of the stuff that's not important, then you will be left behind and more than likely without a home, in debt, and watching us play ground on the internet. So guys, that's kind of all I got. Y'all gonna see, you gonna tune in next week? You're gonna share the video with your friends? Look. So guys, look, what I need you to do, two things. If you're interested in really promoting your business and getting your business out there, you have to start somewhere. We will be accepting promotions. We have our packages together for you guys. So if you want to promote your business, you want to go to bit.ly/be on the money zone, so you can now promote your business to my audience and efficiently, hopefully make some coins and, grow your business name and everything else. And then secondly, if you would love to be a guest and you think that you can add value to my audience, you should also go onto that same link, bit.ly/be on the money zone, so you can possibly be a guest. But guys, look, be safe, be blessed, and let's make money, guys. I will see you guys next week. Good night.